Hello, this is Michaela or Studious Octopus, and I'm here today doing my GlossyBox catch-up for July 2016. This is just a regular pink box. We had lots of summery type items, a little makeup items, and some sort of things that aren't either of those categories. So I'll just give you my feedback on each item, going through the card again. First off, we had the U-Tan and Tone sort of night cream, slow tan, gradual tan cream, which has been interesting, and I have been using it. I haven't been using it every single night in a row. The first time I did that for a while, sort of sustained night and night and night and night and night, I did find after about 4 or 5 days, I didn't like how dark my face was and compared to the rest of me. This wouldn't be as much of a problem, obviously, if you bought the U-Tan and Tone Body Slow Tan Gradual Tanner or a different brand Slow Tan Gradual Tanner, so you're more all the same shade. But I think just using it for a few nights and then waiting, and using it for a few nights and then waiting, it is actually quite mild, quite gradual, but beyond that, it does actually also work as a quite nice moisturizer. It doesn't irritate my skin. It does say it contains hyaluronic acid, which is great. The other thing that I found is even if you do sort of go slightly darker than you would like, or you get sort of patches, on one instance I did have sort of a darker area just on my neck, weirdly. If you just exfoliate a little, I just used a little bit of a sugar scrub, it evens that colour back out because you're exfoliating that sort of top dyed layer of skin off, and it evens it back up again. So actually, yeah, not a terrible experience for my first sort of try of a fake tan. I do think if people are going to try it new, a sort of a slow tan, gradual tan style on is actually a good way to do it, because it's less overwhelming, one big application and then one big result, and then you just have to deal with what you got in the end. As the sort of thing that I would buy all the time regularly, I'm not sure this is for me. I can see why maybe you'd want to use it if you'd like to occasionally look like you were a bit more tanned, but I'm not super bothered about that. So I don't think after I finish this I'm going to like rush out and buy more. I just don't think the experience of it was terrible. It's just not something I'm hugely interested in keeping up with, if that makes sense. Next up was the Hawaiian Tropic lip gloss. I actually really like this. It didn't particularly feel that much like a lip gloss. I suspect it could if you wore it really, really thickly, maybe. But what I find myself doing is you just use a teeny tiny amount, not even like a pea, like a sixth of a pea, and apply it on. And it doesn't feel that much thicker or that much more sort of uncomfortable or like you're wearing something than wearing a lip balm. So I'm not sure I'd hugely even describe this as a lip gloss. It doesn't feel very lip glossy the way I've been wearing it. It's actually been feeling quite nice. I like the taste, I like the scent. I really like that it has SPF 25, and I like that it comes in such a large, generous size. So I actually quite liked having this while I was a bit wary of it at first. It's actually been quite a nice little item to have. Next up was the Milano Emotional Mascara. And again, I actually really like this. It's very fuss-free, sort of straight up and down packaging, straight up and down, slightly thinner style mascara wand. The formula is neither like super gloopy or super sort of thin either. It's a good sort of in-between, I guess, formula, because I do find sometimes some formulas are a bit too clumpy for my eyelashes, which are quite fine, though they are sort of reasonably long and reasonably nice. They're very, very fine. So I think this was the mascara that made the claim that you could wear it lightly or you could build it up. And that is definitely true. You could put on quite a thin coat of this quite easily, and it would just give your lashes sort of a slightly naturally darker look rather than particularly looking like you're wearing lots and lots of mascara. Or you could layer it up and it would look more pronounced sort of mascara, but it would still look quite nice. So I also actually quite like this mascara. So for the sort of makeup items that we've got on this month, really liked both of these actually. Next up was the hair on detangling brush. I was kind of less impressed by this. I don't have particularly tangly hair. My hair is quite thin and quite fine. It doesn't particularly get that much in the way of tangles or knots or anything. If anything, the real thing that I think stood out is that it's a bit small for if you have slightly longer hair. And I'm not even saying I have particularly long hair, but I use a quite big wide tooth paddle brush, and it brushes my hair really quickly because it's a quite big, quite wide paddle brush. But I find this takes much longer to brush all of my hair through, which is just a bit frustrating. I could see it being worth it if I did have tangly hair and you needed to take extra time and care with that, but as it is, it just feels like I'm using something that takes longer to brush my hair in the same way that I normally brush my hair. So I don't think I'm going to run out and buy another one of these. I don't think I'm going to keep using this. It just hasn't really been impressive enough. I don't have the sort of hair that really needs this to help it, and I much prefer using just a traditional type of brush. But well, like I've said before, this isn't predominantly most of the value of the box. This item was only $6.99. It is the cheapest item in the box alongside the lip balm, which was also $6.99. So given that the total box value was £51, just over £51, it's not a great loss to lose the value in that item. And then finally we have the blank canvas F20 face brush. And there it is there. And I've only used this the once. I'm not actually particularly a everyday foundation wearing type person. I don't particularly mind wearing like brow gel and mascara and something on my lips every day, but foundation is usually something I tend to wear for more special occasions. But anyway, regardless, it is actually a really, really nice brush. It's definitely that style that's really good for buffing and buffing and buffing and working the foundation into the skin, which does take a little bit extra time to sort of get a nice even finish, say compared to a beauty blender or a complexion sponge, Real Techniques complexion sponge that I actually use. I would say this takes a little bit longer, but you do get a good, really nice finish of the foundation, really buffed into your face. It is really nice and soft. I didn't have any hairs come off when I was using it. The only thing I would say is if it was possibly slightly bigger and wider, it maybe would be a little quicker to use, but then this size is also quite good for the smaller areas of your face, I think. So it's sort of in some ways it could be a different brush and maybe it would be better, but also it might not, because this might actually just be a good size to use. So I've actually been really happy with this. Like I've said before, I've actually been quite happy with most of the brush choices we've been getting from GlossyBox. This seems like a nice makeup brush, and I will keep it and use it. So there we go, that was the catch-up for the July 2016 box. Items that I think I'm absolutely the most impressed by are these three: the lip gloss, the mascara and the brush. I've been really happy to use all of them. I will be using them all properly in the future, using the two products up, etc, etc. The U-Tan tone, it's nice and it's good for what it is. It's just I don't think it's a type of item that I'm particularly interested in. That doesn't mean it's bad by any stretch, it just means it's not for me. People who are more into tanning products are probably the better people you want to look into what they think of this, whether it's good for what it is. And the hair detangling brush, just not first, not particularly first. I'd rather use a normal hairbrush. So that was that. That was it for now, and pretty soon we should have our August box, which is still the GlossyBox birthday box, and we should all be getting an MUA palette, which would be nice. So I will see you again next time. Eat beautiful, beautiful, right? So this is just a bonus from Wendy Roll. It is a courgette
and shockingly clothes. Do you like the way we can sort of pick everything? Oh,
yeah, we can
it.
pick everything up.